Welcome back to the third video in this mini-series. We created a graph of a route around the Regent's Park in London, and if we remind ourselves, when we created this we were entering the inner circle from the south, going clockwise around the top part, going to the outer circle, going anti-clockwise around the outer circle, going back into the inner circle, doing another clockwise revolution, and then coming out to exit the park at the southeast. Now let's suppose we want to do something completely different. There are two buttons here which allow us to add sections to the end of the route and remove the final route, final section in the route. There are no other editing controls. That is it at the moment. So I can just actually keep clicking that button until I have no route at all. And now I can decide what I want to do. Let us suppose, for the sake of argument, that I do in fact want to start down here. And I need to be able to tell GPX Magic that that is the first section that I want to do. How do I do that? Well, I put a marker on an edge and I would click the button. But edges can be traversed in both directions, so how do I tell GPX Magic in which direction I wish to go? And the answer is I drop the marker, on this occasion only, and I move the marker in the direction that I want to go, and that creates my first section. It's easier to add subsequent sections because I only have to click somewhere on the next edge or on the final node, and that is sufficient to identify the edge. So let's speed up time here. Let's suppose we want to just do, oh, I don't know, should we go around the inner circle a couple of times again, and then no, let's at this point drop out and go around the outer circle. How many times should we go around the outer circle? Should we go around again? No. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's at this point go back into the inner circle and do another spin around there and come out. Don't think I wanted to do that one. I think I wanted to actually come out now. So come back down to the gate and to the finish, and that will be my route. And I'm going to convert that back into an ordinary road, and there it is. So you can see that it's taken away the bit that we're not using, sort of an appendix that we don't need, and we can, just by following the orange marker, just confirm that we're going around the inner circle, going around the outer circle, going back into the inner circle, going around and coming out. Okay, so let's just put the road surface on that, and it all looks fine. But it is worth reminding ourselves that we might want to in fact separate where we're traversing roads in different directions. So to do that, I go back into the graph and I specify my offset. I shall habitually use a typical UK 4-meter offset, and I convert from the graph, and you can now see that I have different roads on the way into the inner circle, and you can also see that GPX Magic has attempted here, for instance, to put in a suitable left-hand bend as we transition from the outer circle back into the inner circle, and likewise it will try and do something when we finally make our exit around here. That in a nutshell is how you create a route on a graph. GPX Magic will allow you to do U-turns, by the way, on straight pieces of track, and it will add in a hairpin. We mentioned that, you may not have noticed it in the 101 video. This is something you need to experiment with. Be careful though that you don't combine this with looping in RGT, because if you loop this again in RGT, it'll mean the whole thing gets repeated, which is probably not what you intended. Next video, we move on to how to do smoothing and various editing functions and what that means when you're in graph mode. It can get a little complicated, so I'm going to do it in small chunks. See you next time.